like around Chatzos Halayla. And the Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu Avada heard from Hashem Bachatzos, because Hashem doesn't say, generally. People talk in general terms, but Hashem has no reason to talk in general terms because everything is precise by Kadosh Baruch Hu. So if Moshe Rabbeinu said Kachatzos, it must be that he was unable to determine when actual Chatzos is, and therefore the Gemara says if Moshe Rabbeinu cannot determine when actual Chatzos is, then how could it be that David HaMelech was able to determine when Chatzos is? David HaMelech says in Tehillim, right, Simin Kuf Yutes in one of the Cheses, Chatzos Laila, Akab L'Hazchal Mishpetei Tzid Kecha. And Memela, how could David say he gets up a Chatzos? How could David know when Chatzos is? When Chatzos is a hard time to determine. It's in the middle of the night, sometime in the middle of the night, dark, and how would you know when Chatzos is? So I gave a number of terutzim. The Gemara says that David HaMelech had a special simon. He had a kinar lamala from his bed. He hung up some sort of instrument above his bed. Sounds like a wind instrument. And Chatzos Halayla, precisely every night, the teva, the bria is, Hashem made it, that the ruach tzufaynis, a northern wind comes blowing. So he faced the opening of this wind instrument to the north. And the moment it started chiming or making or making noise, making music, David HaMelech knew when it was Chatzos. Okay, so that's what the Gemara says. How David HaMelech knew Chatzos, despite the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu might not have known when actual Chatzos was. Okay, that's the Gemara's first teretz. The Gemara gets a little bit distracted and says what happened in the morning he would learn the whole night, and once he got up at Chatzos to learn, even though we had the Gemara before it described David HaMelech had a couple of different shittas as to exactly what David HaMelech Seder Halayla was. David HaMelech had a very busy Seder Halayla. He was either up at Chatzos, he was up the entire night, or maybe he never, for sure David HaMelech never really slept. David HaMelech sleeping was only Kashinas Hasus. He would just like doze off over his Gemara or whatever he was doing. But once it came Chatzos, he was for sure up in full gear. And then the Gemara says that once the morning came about, it tells us what his morning looked like. The Klal Yisrael would come to him, and he would have to give them advice as to what to do with supplying parnasa to Klal Yisrael. Because as a melech is ultimately responsible for parnasa. That's what a melech has to care for Klal Yisrael. That was one teretz, right? Reb Zeira on Dalam and Al says Moshe Rabbeinu knew when Chatzos was, right? And David knew when Chatzos was. And Meil David could know when Chatzos was, right? Meaning, I Moshe Rabbeinu said Kach Chatzos. Moshe Rabbeinu said Kach Chatzos. Not that he didn't know when Chatzos was, but the people he were talking to, the people, Paris people, might not know when Chatzos was. And Meil, he had to say something that they could wrap their head around, because if he said Bach Chatzos, they would say, hey, it's 12:01. So he would look like a fool. But Meil, Moshe Rabbeinu switched it to Kach Chatzos, and Meil David HaMelech also would be able to know when Chatzos was. How would you know? When you're tzaddik, you know. The famous story with the Baal Tanya. The Baal Tanya was in jail in Russia. Jails in Russia back then did not have clocks. They did not have windows. They were underneath the ground, and the door was closed. It was pitch black. And if you're there for a person there for a week, a month, you have no idea what day it is, right? If it's day, if it's night, if it's Sunday, if it's Thursday, you lose track of time on the ground. Anyway, the Baal Tanya in prison, his avodah was lahatli. Like they were like misspelled. This person, he clearly was not very human. So the word got, and he was known that he was a big person, big rabbi, and so the Tsar decided he wants to go visit him. So the Tsar dresses up as a regular person, and he knocks on the door, and they open the door for him, and he comes into the Baal Tanya. When he walks in, the Baal Tanya stands up for him, and he makes a bracha of Shnasim Kroidai Lebasar V'Dam, right? He made a bracha for a melech, right? So he said, what did you say? He said, I made a blessing on you because you're the Tsar. He said, how do you know I'm the Tsar? So he says, because every melech in this world, the reason why you're the king is because every nation has a malach in Shemayim, and the malach of that nation accompanies the king wherever he goes. I saw the malach of Russia with you, so I know you're the Tsar. So he says, very impressive. He says, I just want to wish you good morning. He says, it's not morning, it's 7 o'clock in the evening. He says, how do you know it's 7 o'clock in the evening? Right? So he says that do you know the world is running. Why is the world running? Because Hashem is Mechayah the world. Right? Hashem gives chiyus to the world every moment. Right? Hashem did not give chiyus to the world this next second right now, or this next coming second. Don't get nervous. He's going. Bez Hashem, he will. Right. Bez Hashem, he will continue maintaining the world in the next couple of seconds. Right. If he did not continue giving chiyus, right, the world would be obliterated. Like we say in Shachris, every day, every moment, Hashem is recreating the world. Hashem is constantly oiseh the world. He didn't make the world and give it a spin and say, okay, good luck, right? Every moment, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is being mechayah the world. So, he says, how's HaKadosh Baruch Hu mechayah the world? When HaKadosh Baruch Hu is mechayah the world, he's giving hashpah to the world, to mechayah the world. And this hashpah is represented in a different way of seeing Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay, everything in the world of Kedusha is represented in Isis in letters, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Chiyus and Midas HaChesed is Yud Kei Vav Kei. And every moment, every second has its own Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay, meaning every hour has 1,080 chalakim to it, and there are 1,080 permutations of Shem Yud Kei Vav Kei. Okay, so he says every second has its own Yud Kei Vav Kei, every hour has its own Yud Kei Vav Kei, and Memela, I know exactly what time it is because I have a time clock in front of me. The way the Isis of Shem Havaya flip around. Okay, so this is the way tzaddikim have Shavisa Hashem the Negdi Summit. But if you want to know what time is, now you're just one scientific fact of the engineers amongst us. Right? Science wants to know what is time. What is time? It's something very elusive, right? We all know it's there because time marches on every minute. You can hear the drum beats of time marching on. Right? But what is time? Right? They come up with all sorts of ideas in physics, but what is time really? Time is HaKadosh Baruch Hu, B'chazre HaGadol, recreating the world. Another second. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, recreating. Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu mashpia the next second. And that's what time is. HaKadosh Baruch Hu being mashpia again and again and again. That's what time is. Okay. And that's why the science will never be able to discover what time is, because first you have to discover Hashem, and then you can discover what time is. Okay. Zak the Heilige Gemara. So that's where we left off. And then we said another pshat. A third pshat was that Moshe Rabbeinu Avad knew when Chatzos was, Meir David knew when Chatzos was, but Moshe Rabbeinu was talking on the Chatzos before Makas B'charis, 24 hours prior to Makas B'charis, and he was saying, Kach Chatzos, as it's Mabish Chatzos now, tomorrow at this same exact time is going to be Makas B'charis. And Mela, for the fact that he put a Chaf Adim, it does not mean he was talking in general terms. It means he was saying exactly as it is now, which was actual Chatzos, is going to be tomorrow Makas B'charis. Okay, we're holding the third line on Daf Dalam and Aleph in the wide line. So David, Shomar Nafshi Ki Chassid Ani. David says to Hashem, preserve my nefesh, my soul, Ki Chassid Ani. I am very righteous. What does David mean that he's praising himself as being a chassid? And if he was a chassid, what type of chassid was he? Just a joke. Levi Rabbi Yitzchak. Chad Amar Tzmachlaikis. When Gemara says Levi Rabbi Yitzchak means that Levi Rabbi Yitzchak both said a pshat in the previous pasuk, and we're not going to say which one said what. Which one said what? Chad Amar Kach Amar David. What says this? Is what David said. Listen, Hakadosh Baruch Hu Hashem. Ribon Shalom, Master of the universal chassid Ani. Am I not a righteous man? Like we mentioned previously, right, that all, and then the Mishnah tells us, so all the kings of the world, they sleep until 3 hours into the day. I get up in the middle of the night. I get up 8 hours before everybody else. I have a whole day's work before anyone even thinks about brushing their teeth. And the other man says, David said something else about his chassidus. Meaning, so the first strategy, he's a chassid, he gets up so early. Right? So getting up early it makes you into a chassid, according to this first strategy. Am I not a chassid? All the kings of the world, they sit in their rows and they're surrounded by all the people giving them kavod, and they sit there, mamish, all involved in all the highest at the level of kavod and delicacies. And how do I spend my day? I spend my day taking shilas from women of all sorts of shilas that involve all sorts of blood and different things that afterbirth, if one would have a whatchamacallit, a miscarriage. If a woman miscarriages, you want to know whether she's tummy as if she gave birth. You have to know whether she gave birth to something that has a share of a baby. So he would have to pick through whatever came out to determine whether this was mitama her or not mitama her. So this is what he says. Vani yadai meluchlachis bedam ubishvir kedei latar isha lebaila. My hands are dirty with blood. Shpir is embryos, vishilya is embryonic sacs. Kedei latar isha, or maybe it means the placenta. Kedei latar isha lebaila, in order to be matar women to their husbands, meaning they were not sure whether they're tummy or not. If they're tummy, they can't be with their husbands. And he would make it his point, even as the king, to go pick through the material to figure out what the deal is. I was once many years ago, I had a shaila in one of these halachas. I took it to Rabbi Steinberg, and I was living in Matzah, so Rabbi Steinberg looks at it. He says, it's no good. So his grandson was doing shimush by him. He's looking at it, trying to figure out whether there's a way to say it's okay. And so Rabbi Steinberg is sitting there, he's just like, stop looking, it's no good. If you look at any comments, just go, take it to the light looking at it, maybe this, maybe that. So I told Rabbi Steinberg, I said, even though it's not good, but there's and he knows he's not going to get any place, but you see, David HaMelech is mishabeach himself, that he's busy with it, you know what I'm saying? So every lichluch is nachamayla. So mayla, that was something that he had that mayla, of being Isaac. Anyway. Right, he says, and not only that, everything that I do, I ask from Mipi Baishas Rabbi, my Rabbi. Meaning, if David HaMelech had a Rabbi, and even though he was the king, and the kings have to know it all, you would think they would have to show that they know it all. Every psak he gave, he would ask his Rabbi, did I paskin okay? So he showed, besides the fact that he was Isaac and things that were shalai lefi chayda, even after the fact, he acted in a way, a very anivistic way, by asking his Rebbe to conclude, if he concluded correctly. I would say to him, Rabbi, my Rebbe, did I paskin good? Did I obligate correctly? Did I let off the hook appropriately? Was I matar properly? I was not embarrassed. Okay, so you have two reasons why David was a chassid. Either he got up early, or his avodas hayom was something that was, as a melech, you would have thought he would have shied away from. But l'shem shemayim, he did not care about anything. Whatever it takes for his avodas Hashem, his busha did not play a part in it. What's the pasuk that David HaMelech was involved in halacha and Torah all day, and he was not embarrassed? David HaMelech says, I speak in your Torah in front of all other kings, even though the kings around me who are goyim and do not appreciate my conversation. I'm not embarrassed that this is what's more important to me than winning the approval of the people around me. His name was not Mipi Baishas, his Rabbi. His name was Ish Baishas, right? Why we call Mipi from his mouth is Baishas comes out Busha. Because David had embarrassment from halacha from Mipi Baishas, because either Mipi Baishas would agree with him, or Mipi Baishas may have to correct him. Because David was so humble, he was able to have a child named Kilov, who was a tremendous Talmid Chacham and was even greater than Mipi Baishas. But Rabbi Yechon, unlike Kilov Shemai, his name wasn't Kilov, El Daniel Shemai. His name was Daniel. His name was Kilov because he was able to remove the kiloyan, the busha of David HaMelech, of his father, right? Because he was able to show. David was able to say, maybe Mipi Baishas knows more than me, but my son Kilov knows more than Mipi Baishas. And on Kilov, Shlomo said in his wisdom, that my son, if you are a Talmid Chacham, I am very excited about that. And my son, you make me very happy with your Chachma, and this is my response to my embarrassments for the past. In fact, the Barakasha, we just said David HaMelech referred himself as a chassid. Did David HaMelech have confidence that he's a chassid? Did David, mi karla nafshi chassid? David HaMelech said about himself that halavai, lule halavai, hamad that I could believe, liris b'tiv Hashem Ratzchaim, that go to Yizaycha to Gan Eden. So he wasn't even sure he's going to get Gan Eden. Did he really pat himself on the back saying he's chassid? The Tadrush Beit Rabbi Yosi, Lama Nakan al Lule. If you look in the Tehillim, I don't know if in our Tehillim, but there were dots on the words of Lule. Right? Why are the dots on top of the letters of Lule? Right? I know that you give schar to tzaddikim in the world to come. I don't know if I'm going to get it in love. So did he think he's a chassid? Did he not think he's a chassid? After the Gemara, he knew he was a chassid, but he was always concerned Shema Yigar Machet. Maybe his chassid status would be ruined by doing Aver. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi, Rami. Like we find Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi, he has to stira. Okay, interesting. Rabbi Yaakov Bar Idi is saying something about Yaakov Avinu. Rami, he has to steer by Yaakov Avinu. Ksiv HaKadosh Baruch Hu guarantees Yaakov Avinu in the beginning of Parashat Vayetzi. He gets a guarantee from the one and only Hashem. I'm going to take care of you. I'm going to watch every place you go. The Ksiv in the Parashat Vayishach, when he's coming back towards Esav, Yaakov was very afraid. Why was he afraid? If he has Havtacha from Hashem, and that's money in the bank. And for the Gemara, Amar Shema Yigrim Hachet, he said maybe the Elamai, Yaakov was concerned that he had Havtachas, he was on the Madrega to deserve the Havtachas, but who knows if he erred in the last 20 years, maybe he made some sort of errors that would take away his Hashgacha Ketanya. Like we find that this idea of Yigrim Hachet actually can be a factor, because the Pasuk says by Oz Yashir, Ad Yavram Abcha Hashem, Ad Yavram Zukanisa. Right, it says twice Ad Yavar in Az Yashir about going into Klal Yisrael, going into Eretz Yisrael. So the Gemara says Ad Yavar Hashem to be Rishona. Right, this is referring to Klal Yisrael going. That Hashem is going to accompany Klal Yisrael until they go into Eretz Yisrael. This is be Rishona. This is coming in the first time with the Yeshua. And over there, when they came with the Yeshua, that tremendous nisim, they went in there, they obliterated all the goyim over there, and they had the Yardim split for them, and they went in with tremendous nisim and the flies and Siyat Ishmael. And Ad Yavram Zukanisa, and the second Ad Yavram Zubishniya. This is when they came back after Gal's Babel, right? Mikana Mechacham, for Milcham say, Ruin HaYisrael Laslam Neis B'Meyazer Kedach Shanaslam B'Meyeshua. Really, Klal Yisrael should have had the same miracle should have happened to them when they went into Eretz Yisrael after Gal's Babel, the same way they went in with all the Nisim in the time of Yeshua. Because that's what the Nevi'us of the Oz Yashir is, that the two goings inside should be the same. Why when they came back, they have to come back so humbly in the times of the Ba'ai Sheni that they were under the rule of the Goyim, and they had to constantly guard from the Goyim around them when they rebuilt the Beis Hamikdash, like we saw like yesterday's daf. Ela Shigar Machet. There are various that were done that took away the Siyat D'Shmai. So Chum say you say Kriya Shema until Chatzos. In fact, more. Why would you say Kriya Shema Shal Av until Chatzos? Bishlam, according to Rabbi Yezer. Rabbi Yezer says you say it for the first Ashmura, for the first 4 hours of the night, because he also reads Mishmar Tabei Laila, because he teaches the word Ubishach B'cha. Okay, again, the Zman Kriya Shema is not totally in Laila and Yom. The Zman Kriya Shema is totally in what? It says Ubishach B'cha when you go to sleep, Ubishach when you get up. So going to sleep has some sort of range. People go to sleep at different times. You start going to sleep when it gets dark, and you go to sleep by 10 o'clock. Everybody's sleeping. You have to be at Daf Yomi early, right? So in Mela, Rabbi Lezer says you have until 10 o'clock at night. Again, we always deal with a 6 to 6 day. Say should come at 6 o'clock at night. 4 hours later is 10 o'clock. So he types B'shach B'cha to mean you say Kriya Shema at the time that people go to sleep. The Chacham say you say Kriya Shema the entire. The Chacham say the Rabbi Hillel says you say Kriya Shema the entire night because he types B'shach B'cha while people are sleeping. So you say Kriya Shema the entire time that people sleep. The Chacham say Chatzos. What's Chatzos? Nishtaheh. It's not when you're going to sleep, and it's not when people are sleeping. So why would they get to Chatzos? Unless you're going to say that Chacham knew people go to sleep later. Okay, that would have been maybe that would have been the people with cars are in the city. You know, by the time you get back, right? By the time you get back, it'd be close to 12 o'clock. Right? You ever meet anyone like that? So, but the Gemara don't have me that someone's going to go to sleep so late, or at least not normal people. We don't cheshmeis with not the spotless eye to Eitz HaKolam, the abnormal people. So Chacham Kamas Svilu, Ikar Ablas Svilu, Lem Kar Ablas, Holak Ablas, Taicha B'Shach B'Cha is the time that people are actually going to sleep. So then that's obvious. People are asleep by 10 o'clock. The Kar Gamliel Svilu Zelak Kar Gamliel B'Shach B'Cha means while people are sleeping. Lem Kar Gamliel. That's Man Krishma's whole night. Lem Kar Gamliel Svilu V'Had Kar Me'at Chaseis. They lach Adam and a really hold Maker Ademi Derais. You can say the whole night, and they put you back to 12 o'clock. They made the cut off at Chatzos. They lach Adam and Avera. They should be far away from Avera, meaning missing Kriya Shema is a bit huge Avera. And Mimele, they had to backtrack on this man to encourage people to realize you don't have all night to say, and therefore say it now. Continue. We learned that they made together further words. People come home from work at night. Back in the day, you worked in the Sada, back-breaking labor the entire day, right? They didn't have tractors. And you came in at night, you were exhausted. So what would a person say when he comes in at night? Let me go home first, let me go to my house, I'll eat a little bit of Eshta Kimmel, I'll drink a little bit of Isha Kimmel, take a little nap, and then I'll daven, right? He ends up falling asleep, and then he'll sleep the whole night, and Mamela is going to miss Kriya Shema. So in order to encourage people not to think they have all night, we made this man Kriya Shema end much earlier, in order that people realize I have to do my Kriya Shema and my Mariv now, right away when I get home. That's what the Brachos appears. So but rather a person will come back from work in the evening. He's going nichlas basic knesses, go straight to shul. If you learn Chumash, learn Chumash. If you know Mishnayos, learn Mishnayos. And then Kriya Shema, Mispal. He'll say Shema and daven ba'eicha pitay, and only after that he'll sit back to eat the mevarach and alpech. And Memela, he's going to have a life full of Torah and mitzvahs instead of having a life void of anything, because the person can just get into bad schedule. He doesn't even chap, right? His whole life goes by. He's doing good things. He's working. He's trying not to do the biggest average, but at the end of the day, he comes home exhausted. And then at the end of the day, he falls asleep and he doesn't learn a word. He doesn't daven a word. And what does he end up? He ends up in a matzav of a tremendous void in his entire life. The price of your life. And anyone that doesn't listen to the words of Chamim, he doesn't schedule day appropriately, davening appropriately, and learning appropriately, he's chayiv misa. He is liable for the death penalty. Why over here, this gather, do we make such a warning? Is chayiv misa? We don't introduce every drabon by saying chayiv misa. How come over here we say he's chayiv misa? There's two reasons why we have to give an extra warning when it comes to this. Because Chazal recognizes that you are very tired. And once you fall asleep, you're in aynus. It's very hard to get a person up at that point. And mainly we have to shake people to avoid falling into that pitfall. Because there are people that hold tefillas harvest. There is a man that holds tefillas harvest for shus. That the davening mariv is at least Shemay Esrei mariv is a rishus. It's optional. Kamash v'lon the we want to tell you we want to banish anyone thinking that that's halacha. Halacha is Kamashwan de Chayva, which nowadays Tzilas Ta'aris is a Chayva. Why is the Chayva? We'll talk about when we get to the fourth parak. Amamar. Kayu Kiyashma Mispal this Brisa. Now we're going to just commenting on this previous Brisa. Right? Kayu Kiyashma Mispal. It says at night you read Kriyashma and then you say Shema Nesrei. Now to us that's obvious. We all know that by Mari we say Shema, then Shema Nesrei. However, that wasn't so pashut back in the day, and that's the chshuk going to be over here. Amar Karkesh Mispal Misal Rabbi Yochanan. This is right Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Yochanan Esau ben Olam Haba, who is a person that is going to earn Olam Haba, who is guaranteed to get Olam Haba. This is someone who at night by Mariv he's makbid to say Kriya Shema with the Brachos Kriya Shema and to end the Gal Yisrael and Hashkivenu, and then daven Shemay Esrei. Okay, because being Samach Gulul Tefillah is the idea of setting up your Shemay Esrei by introducing it with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Gal Yisrael. This gives people Olam Haba. Why is Samach Gulul Tefillah? And Rashi says surely in the morning you're Ben Olam Haba when you're Samach Gulul Tefillah. Why is being Samach Gulul Tefillah so important? So Rashi brings down from the Yerushalmi. Yerushalmi says that when a person davens, what does he do? He says random words to a sitter. Right? You just talk to your sitter, right? It's meaningless, right? That's what you think. No, chas v'shalom, right? When you're davening, what are you doing?
Talking to Hashem.
Not only talking to Hashem, more importantly, like the Mesilas Yesharim tells us and the Yerushalmi tells us, right? You're Aymed Lefnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mamish. You're taking a long trip from Brooklyn up to Hashem's palace in all the way up. It's very high up, but with you have a lot of propellant in your brachos and your psukah zimra and your brachos kriyashma. And believe it or not, you travel who knows how far. Sometimes you daven. Let me explain something. Sometimes you daven right now, right? You're saying Hashem, I'm so tired. Please give me siyat shema and koyach to learn and understand Torah, because without it I'm dead, right? So that tefillah is not Shema Nesrei. That's a tefillah that you have to daven all day, right? And that tefillah, you're not Oymef Ne'amelch. That tefillah goes straight up to Hashem. And that's like a ballistic missile, goes straight up to Hashem. And in a moment, Hashem says, okay, and a second later, right, as you finish the tefillah, you already have the Siyat Shmaya, because Hashem answers your tefillas right away. That is not a tefillah Shmoneh Esrei. That is a stam tefillah. It's you send your tefillas on these ballistic missiles. It goes immediately to Hashem and immediately get a response. Okay. Shmoneh Esrei is different. Shmoneh Esrei is a trip. Every morning you go on a trip and you stand in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. When you stand in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you obviously end up in a much better place. That you actually are greeted by HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu looks you over and he tends to your needs in a much more personal way. Okay, that's why we're going to tighten it up, because that's what the difference between Shmoneh Esrei and Stam Tefillah. Just a quick detour. Right, there's a sefer called Minchas Yehuda, right, a big Mekubal, Rabbi Yehuda Petaya, and he was Isaac. He was Isaac in being misak and all sorts of neshamas. Okay. He was able to talk to the neshamas. They would come to him in his dreams at night or whatever it was, and he would talk to the neshamas that had already left this world. Okay, and the neshamas, a lot of them were in very, very, very bad places. Some of them were not in Gan Eden. They were floating around the world. They would come to him for a tikkun, to daven for them, because if a tzaddik would daven for a person after he's nifter, learn mishnayos for them, instead of them suffering with Gehenim and all sorts of terrible einshim, a tzaddik has the ability of helping them get through the process much quicker. Okay, so he has has many pages, 30, 40, 50 pages of all his interaction with different neshamas. What the neshamas that were of people that were Rishonim, right? I spent their lives running after who knows what, mostly Gilai, right? These people were in terrible matzav. They couldn't get to Gehenim, right? They were plastic to get to Gehenim, so they could eventually get clean, but they were too sullied to even get to Gehenim. They'd be just floating around the world with Malachi Chabola.
Is that like what they call like the Yordei Duma, like the limbo land?
Yeah. I'm not sure if it's Duma. Duma is we're going to learn about Duma soon. Daf Yitchesed Beis. He's the star of Gehenim. So that's once a person's in Gehenim, he's there. But
so does limbo land.
But there is Kafakala. There are areas here. There are people. There are places here where Nishtahir, and that's people that are very average people that just they do the Gilai Rash when they feel like it, and they think no one's looking, and they think it's not a big deal. And a little bit they realize that they're selling themselves so badly that they can't even get to Gehenim. So they have Malach Kabbalah that follow them around and beat them. Living daylights out of them, or not living daylights out of them, right? And they suffer, and they could suffer not for Gehenim we know is not more than 12 months. They could suffer for decades and hundreds of years. Okay, so he has one of these people that he's trying to help, and he asked him, and he's telling him that this Malach Kabbalah is on each side of him, and wherever he goes, and so he says, "Can I talk to Malach Kabbalah?" He said, "You could try." So he talks to him. He asked the Malach Kabbalah, "Can I talk to you?" The Malach, what? He says, I don't know. He can talk to the neshamas, but no one ever asked us whether they could talk. I have no idea. And he was like snotting him out. So he says, if I ask Hashem, if Hashem gives you permission to talk to me, can you talk? Just do what you want. You know what I'm saying? So he says that he says Yiras and Hashem, they should give rishus to this Malach Habal to talk to me. Boom. As he finishes the tefillah, the Malach Hamim says, "Okay, I can talk to you. I got orders from Hashem. I can talk to you." Right? And he has a whole conversation with Malach Kabbalah. Okay? But what he takes out of this is, he says he was blown away. He says the moment he finished his tefillah, the second he finished his tefillah, Malach said, "Okay, I got orders that I could talk to you." He says, "My tefillah had to go all the way up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The orders had to come down the chain of command all the way down to this Malach over here." And it was the moment I finished it, the guy says, "Okay, I got the orders that it's okay." So he says the Kayach HaTefillah of not a Shmoneh Esrei Tefillah. He was like, this tzaddik was blown away how Tefillah works, right? And the Shmoneh Esrei is even a greater thing. You go right up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So Mela, a person who's davens, who's Samech Gula Tefillah, who Yeshami tells us, he makes his trip. He goes right up to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu opens the gates of the palace to him, and he's standing in front of Hashem, because that's how the whole build-up of Pesukei Zimra and all the Brachos with the Gula Tefillah, right, gets him right there. Mela, you're for sure in Beit Olam Haba, because the person that makes that trip and stands in front of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, right? 3 times a day Shemona Esrei, because the Gula Tefillah by Shachris keeps you there for Mincha, and by Ma'ariv you do another Gula Tefillah. That's what Rabbi is saying. And mainly you're for sure going to be a Ben Olam Haba. We mentioned last night for Rabbi Yoina, he says that Gula mentioning Hashem is Goyal gives us tremendous bitachon HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We know Hashem took us out of the time, so we have tremendous bitachon. If you damn HaKadosh Baruch Hu with bitachon, then you're going to for sure make it Olam Haba, because the person living in this world bitachon gets Olam Haba. And the other thing is that a person is very humble when you realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu was Goyal you. You become, you're Eved Hashem. If you recognize you're Eved Hashem and you're not in charge, then you're also going to be much more humble in your Avodas Hashem, and therefore you're going to get to Olam Haba. That's what that's 2 reasons behind the union of being Samech Gula Litzvi. Fine. So our Mishnah says, this Brachos says that by Ma'ariv you do Kriya Shema and then Tefillah, which means you do Gula before Tefillah. Because if you do Kriya Shema after Shemona Esrei, then you're not going to be Samech L'Gula Tefillah. So you see for the Brachos like Rabbi Yochanan. So Gemara says, Rabbi Shua ben Levi Omer, right, we're the second to last narrow line. Rabbi Shua ben Levi says no. Tefillah is bam to tiknum. Right, tefillahs are in the middle of Brachos Kriya Shema. I mean, in the morning you say Brachos Kriya Shema and then Shemona Esrei. By Ma'ariv you say Shemona Esrei and then Brachos Kriya Shema. So Shemona Esrei of Shachris, Mincha and Ma'ariv are sandwiched in between the Brachos Kriya Shema. So he holds you're not Samech Gula Tefillah by Ma'ariv. Why? What are Rabbi Shua ben Levi Yochanan arguing in? Ibai say Krayb, Ibai say Misvara. Ibai say Misvara. They could be arguing about a pasuk. Could be arguing about a logical machlekes. Ibai say Misvara. Rabbi Yochanan Samech Gula Morta Nami Havi. Rabbi Yochanan says that Misvara you should mention Gula at night because the Gula Mitzrayim also was at night. And Mela, the night is also Zman Gula. You should mention Gula in preparation of your Shemona Esrei. They actually, the full gula happened in the morning, but there was actually a gula at night. That's when Makas B'charis was, and that's when they got the green light to go. And Mela, it's Zman Gula. You should exercise the koyach of gula for your Shemona Esrei. Rabbi Shua ben Levi Savar, keep it like Habi Elam Yitzhak, or like Habi Gula Yosef. Rabbi Shua ben Levi says no, gula at night wasn't a full gula. Mela, it doesn't have the koyach of gula. There's no reason to do Bisamach Gula Tefillah at night. That would be a svar that they're arguing about. By saying Mikra, that they're arguing about a pasuk Shnei Mikra Chadarshu, both being darsh the same pasuk. The pasuk says that you say Kriya Shema and when you go to sleep, when you wake up. We compare going to sleep to getting up. Just like everyone agrees that when in the morning you say Kriya Shema and then Tefillah, also at night. Kriya Shema v'achach Tefillah. When you say Kriya Shema and then Tefillah, that means obviously the Brachos Kriya Shema with the Gal Yisrael before the Tefillah. The opposite. Right, just like at night you say Kriya Shema. And you can see just like in the morning, Kriya Shema is close to your bed. You get out of bed, and Kriya Shema is closer to getting up than Shemona Esrei. You want the Kriya Shema to be the last thing you do, or at least close to your bedtime than the Shemona Esrei. We're going to see at the bottom of the Amud over here that there's another Kriya Shema Lamita, that is besides the Kriya Shema Shel Arvis. Fine. Moshe Bar Brei Ravina. Rabbi Brei Ravina asked the following question. Right? Our Mishnah says you do 2 brachos by Ma'ariv, 2 brachos before Kriya Shema, and 2 brachos after Kriya Shema. How can you tell me you say that there's an Indian Gula being Samech Gula Tefillah by Ma'ariv? We say Hashkivenu after Gal Yisrael, so there's a whole hefsek between Gal Yisrael and Shemona Esrei. So you spice the L'char, it's Pasha from the Mishnah, Rabbi Yochanan and Amayra, right? The Mishnah seems to be saying not like you. You have to be Samech Gula Tefillah. Samech Gula Tefillah. You say Hashkivenu after Gal Yisrael. Army said that they told him. They said, no, Hashkivenu is not a stira. Due to the fact that the Chazal were misakin the bracha Hashkivenu, that is an extension of the Gula, so that is Gula. It'll prove to you that there's the idea of things that we add addendums to, of brachas or addendums to Shemona Esrei, have it, they become part and parcel of the thing you connected it to. Because by Shachas also, we would never have Gula Tefillah being connected, because by Shemona Esrei we have an addition to Shemona Esrei. Before we start saying Shemona Esrei, we say Hashem Sfasei Tiftach. Hashem Sfasei Tiftach. Right? So for the fact that we say Hashem Sfasei Tiftach, is that not a hefsek? Elamai, what do you see from the fact that it's connected to Tefillah, becomes part and parcel of Tefillah? I'll also give the Kitikin Rabban Lameimar Hashem Sfasai Tiftach Kitfilah Richdamia from the fact that we connected Shemon Esrei, that becomes an extension to Shemon Esrei, and therefore there is Gula Samachat Tfilah. Hachanami, in as much it made an extension of Gula. Hachanam give the Kitikin Rabban Lameimar Ashkemen Gula Richdamia. It is an extension of the Gula, and therefore it does not have to be hafsik between Gula and Tfilah. Amar Blasa, Amar Rabbi Avino, or maybe Amar Avina, Amar Avina. Kalaimer, famous Gemara. These are the most famous Gemaras in the world. And you know them, your mom is connected to the most basics in Yiddishkeit. Kalayim til dav chal yom, shalish pam. Whether you go shalish pam or maybe til dav chal yom one time, we say Ashrei 3 times. Kalayim til dav chal yom. Right? If anyone that says Ashrei 3 times, shalish pamim. This you have avtacha that you're going to get to Olam Haba. How is it they get to Olam Haba by just saying Ashrei 3 times? You would think it would take be a lot harder.
Where does Ashrei Yeshua come from? The Hillel David from the Hillel.
Yeah.
Where does
Ashrei Yeshua is actually the last.
The last one from the previous.
No. The Ashrei Yeshua is the one from the previous one. Ashrei Yeshua is back. Is way back. Yeah.
Ashrei Yeshua.
Yeah. We connected it. Who came up to connect it? I'm not sure. But Asher B'Shkach Chalai is the last pasuk of the previous one, and Asher Yeshua V'Secha is
V'anachnu Nevaret Ka isn't either part of the Hillel.
Right. Okay. So Gemara says that. So my time. What is so special about Ashrei that guarantees for Olam Haba? Ilay Mishum this to ask you about Aleph Beis that it has in it the whole Aleph Beis besides Nun, which we're going to see. Neima Ashrei Simimei Darach. If you say Kuf Yates, that has 8 times Aleph Beis. Every pasuk. Every ois, every letter has 8 psukim for it. So that would get you to a super Olam Haba. So El Mishum this by Pesachas Yedecha. You can tell me because it has the pasuk of Pesachas Yedecha, which has in it that we have B'Tachar Kadosh Baruch Hu, that He provides us with everything we have. Right? Name Halagadol. Right? Halagadol has a pasuk that says powerful. Pesachas Yedecha the Chsiv Bei Noisin Lech L'Chabasar. Like Kadosh Baruch Hu provides food for all living beings. El Mishum this Beitarti is like tomorrow. This has both. It has Pesachas Yedecha, which describes our ultimate dependence on a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and also it has the Aleph Beis. So these two combined guarantees you to Olam Haba when you connect to the Kedusha of the Isis, and you connect to the idea that Kadosh Baruch Hu's Pesachas Yedecha must be Elachol Charetz. Why is there no nun in Ashrei? The idea is to get the whole Aleph Beis. Why do we leave out nun? Because nun stands for Nefila. It talks about Sainei Yisrael as an allegory for Chasham Klal Yisrael falling. The Chsiv Nafla Lo Yisayisiv Kum B'Sul Yisrael. The Chasham Klal Yisrael will fall and not get up. Right? So maybe we want to leave out nun. Nun is Nefila. Now Marav Metartzi Lahachi. In Marava, they read the pasuk a little Hasidish, right? To make the pasuk not sound so bad, right? If nafla lo yisayisiv linpol, oi, Klal Yisrael falls and it will not continue to fall, oi, ever again. Come, Basilis Yisrael. Klal Yisrael is going to have its awakening, its better time. Even though David left out the nun, he with Meram is the nun in the next pasuk of the Samach Hashem L'chal HaNeiflim. He mentioned the Nefila, but he mentioned it as a smicha for the Nefila.
Why can't you just use it for a positive word?
Why could you find it? Why is nun intrinsically
find
connected to the word?
Word for everything.
Right, it's a good child.
Well, that's what they're using the Samach for, a positive thing.
So you use every letter for a positive thing.
Right.
Every letter can be positive. Every letter can be negative. So why choose nun to be negative?
Right. No. Anyway, the Parshah asked the question, and it's beyond the scope of this presentation. Okay. Rabbi Elazar Bar Avina. Gadol, but the answer is that nun is be'emes intrinsically connected to the word Nefila more than any other ice. That's ultimately you're going to have to say. We have 2 very famous malachim, Michal and Gavriel. Michal, it says greater things about Michal than it does say about Gavriel. Okay, just a little bit of Kabbalah. Michal is Mimin and Michal, Mismal and Gavriel. Mimin is Chesed. So Michal is a malach of Chesed. Okay, and Gavriel is Gvura, which is Din. Okay, which is the malach, the kach, the midah HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that is mitzamsim, that holds things in place. Okay, then it's very important, right? But at the end of the day, chesed is we want always chesed to be greater. So meila mechos kach is greater than the kach of Gabriel. Midas chesed HaKadosh Baruch Hu is displayed in a greater way than the midah of Gabriel. When it comes to Michal, it says one of the angels flew to me. Gabriel, when it comes to Gabriel, which is Michal, because he's called Echem and Asraf, he's the miyuchad of the angels. Gabriel ksev v'ish Gabriel asher isim chazon betchila mayaf b'yav. That Gabriel had to go in two steps. Move b'yav, so Michal can get to his destination in one jump. Masha Enkin Gabriel, it takes him a couple steps to get to where he needs to go. My Masha Dayachem B'chalu. How do you know the pasuk of V'yov Elai Echem and Asaf is B'chalu? Rav Yochanan Asi Echad. We have Gzer Shav Echad Ksevach V'yov Elai Echad and Asaf. Ksevasim Hine B'chal Echad Minas Ar Marishayin and Bola Azveni. So B'chal is referred to as the Echad. Tana B'chal Ba'achas. Gabriel B'shtayim. Right? Michal gets his destinations in one jump. Gabriel B'shtayim in two jumps. Eliyahu Ba'arba 4 jumps. Machamavis B'shmayna 8 jumps. However, when there is Midas Adin being shown the world, the Malach HaBavas has his shlita, then he has the koach to jump even Achas. Rabbi Shubal Chas Shal. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi Apish Karlu Kriyishma Beis Knesset Mitzvah L'Kroisai Al Mitas. Even the person laying Kriyishma in Shul, it's a Mitzvah Kriyishma again after Ma'ariv before you go to sleep, known as Kriyishma Shel Al Hamita. Rabbi Yeshua by Kra Rigs about Tachta Imavav Al Mishkaf of Namisela.
3 times.
Huh?
Say that 3 times.
Yeah.
Why does he call it a mitzvah? Didn't we see previously it was like a pretty big machlokas that would be the one that you guys are with?
You talk about Rashi and the Daf Yomi Alpha.
Yeah, so you're Rashi and Tesis, yeah.
Yeah, but
that's the actual.
Yeah, but that here we're assuming you say Kriyash B'Zman. Rashi said it's simply the minute that you don't say Kriyash B'Zman, so you have to do it again. So Rashi says say Yaitz with Kriyash Malmita, but everyone agrees even for your Yaitz, right? You have to say Kriyash a third time. It says rigs about techato. Right, rigs means that you should rigs about techato means you should motivate yourself to do bears. Say kriyishma, which says al levavecha al mishkavchem, right, at night before you go to sleep. Kriyishma shel arvis. V'dayim yisel v'darish. Rashi says v'dayim the bottom Rashi bishina achrikim. Right, that you say the third time bishina when you go to sleep. Amar Menachem. Tam Chachmu Ein Tarch. If you're a Tam Chachmu and you go to sleep, mamish falling asleep from learning in the middle of the sugya, you don't have to say Kriyash Ma third time. Your Torah that's on your mind, that's on your lips as you go to sleep, is yaitzi you for Kriyash Ma. Because ultimately the Indian of Kriyash Ma is in from Masikim to keep you away from the bad forces that come out at night. And a person, the Shama leaves, his body is at risk, without having the Shama's up in Shemayim, right? It could be being needed every night. And a person without the Shama in this world is at risk. Who knows what type of Kach Tumah can invade his body? That's why we say every morning, Shalei Shani Gai, right? Because the Mishabur brings down, right? That a person, his Neshama leaves at night, who knows that maybe the Neshama of a guy will end up in his body in the morning, right? Therefore, when you get up in the morning, you say, and you realize, hey, it's still me. Right, I'm still my same self. You say Brachos Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam Shalei Sani Gai, then I am a yid because you're recreated as a yid every night when the Kadosh Baruch Hu cleans the neshama at night and sends it back to you.
Yeah, would you even be conscious of the switch?
That's what I ask ourselves. How do you know? How do you know? Maybe you are there. It says you're in shul, then vice dice. If you have your tefillin on and he's saying shul and you're in shul, vice dice, you're still a yid. Yeah. But Rabbi says even Tam Chacham should say one pasuk Rachman of Rachmanis. That I give my soul to you, and P'tisaisi you redeem Hashem Kel Emes the true Hashem. Right, this is from the most famous Gemaras. That a person always has to fight his Yetzer Tov Yetzer. You have to wage war every day. Yetzer Tov Yetzer. You have to go out and go and seek and destroy missions with the Yetzer Hara. Shenema rigs about Tachto. Make a war on your Yetzer Hara, and then you won't do Averis. If you could just overcome it by inspiring yourself without any specific tools, great. Then if you still feel the Yetzer Hara is still kicking, you got to sit and learn. So you learn your daf in the morning. So this is the greatest way to knock out the Yetzer Hara for the day. If that works, then nitzchi mutav. Shnam imru b'vavchem. Because it says gives you a tool, which is to say imru b'vavchem, which refers to Torah, which is it says that Torah is imru b'vavchem is Torah because I guess right, or they say Torah is menachas b'liba shel adam. I'm not sure exactly what the Makar is, but they say al levavchem is Torah has to be in your heart. Okay, it says kosva loach libecha. Right, there is definitely reference to Torah as being al levecha mela. This is al levavchem is giving you a hint as to how you beat the Torah. You got to learn. In nitzchu mutav, if that works, great. Then you say kriyashma, and that's going to help you vanquish the Torah. Amish kafchem, which refers to kriyashma, which is said at night. In nitzchu mutav, if you that beats him, that's great. The person has to realize that if there's going to come the day that he's going to be leaving this world, at that point he's going to feel very vulnerable and not like such a big shot. And when he pictures that the last day of his life, when he feels so vulnerable and knowing that he's going to a place where there's nothing other than a Kadosh Baruch Hu, that is going to give his Yetzer Hara some sort of kick away from him. The pasuk says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe Rabbeinu, I'm going to give you the luchos of the actual luchos of the stone luchos, v'ha Torah and the Torah, v'ha mitzvah and the mitzvah, asher ksavti that I wrote l'hayraisam to guide you. So it sounds like there are many things being given to Moshe. So Gemara luchos elaser stibris. That's the actual blocks of the luchos. Torah zu mikra. This is the psukim of the whole Torah. Mitzvah zu mishnah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu tells Moshe, I'm going to give you mishnayos on Har Sinai. Asher kasavti elon v'im ksum. I'm going to give you the whole nach. I'm going to give you to know how to proceed in life. Zegamara, Malabishkum, this is Moshe Sinai. Tanakh, Mishnayos, and Gemara were all given to Moshe Sinai. The Gemara says that Moshe Rabbeinu was given every chiddush that anyone is ever going to be Mechadesh Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu was taught that chiddush. All of us have a chiddush in Torah, and we have our own chiddush in Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu saw every one of our chalakim in Torah. When you say the greatness of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, which is Shema, right? That's Cherev Pifiyos Biyadim. That is a two-sided sword. That is like a koyach having a two-sided sword that you can destroy any mazikim around you. My mashma. How do you know this talking about this Ramis Kel's Kriyashma? Maybe it's something else. Because it says before that Chassidim are going to sing to Hashem with respect. They're going to sing to Hashem on their beds, right? And so talk about something they said on your bed, which we know is Kriyashma. Mattel says that when you say this Kriyashma Almita, you have your two-sided sword in your hand. Two-sided sword is actually described in the Zohar as Yud Kei Vav Kei. So the tip of the sword, right? Is the point is the yud, right? The length of the sword is the above, and I think the 2 points of the sword, the two sharpened edges, is the midpoint is above, and the two sharpened edges are the two hays, I believe so. Okay, let's just get a couple lines. We have to start. Oh, it's late. Okay. Let's just finish this thing about Kriyashma. Anyone says Kriyashma on his bed, all the mazik and all the Kaychas Tumah they run away from him. Shenema Bnei Reshef Yagbiyu Uf. Bnei Reshef refers to Kaychas Tumah. Yagbiyu Uf. Right? They get thrown away by Uf. What's Uf? Enof El Taira. Uf refers to Taira. Shenema Hisif Einecha Hasav Einecha Boy Veinenu. Torah is famous. The Chazal tells that if you mesiach das from Torah, if you lose sight of Torah, if you finish a daf and you go to work and you don't think a moment about Torah the rest of the day, you're going to come back the next day. You have no idea you even learned the previous daf. Right? The Torah has to something you have to learn, and it has to be always on the back of your mind. So, and Rashi refers to mazikin kaychas tumah shnema maz mizei rav chum Rashi. If you get talking about all the kaychas tumah in the Taichacha. So you see, it says in Bnei Reshef, if anything has to do with tumah, gets thrown away by uf, which is Taira.
Where's the daf? Actual daf?
I don't know.